All right, Justin. Technical difficulties yet again. It wouldn't be a crow's nest without that. Um, let's see. I don't see any text from you. Um, you know, Justin, I can't even hear you at all. I don't even see that you're trying to talk on the remote streaming thing at all. Um, Reaper Miniatures, I can hear you. So if you guys can hear me, say type 4. If you can hear Justin, because I can't hear Justin at all. Yeah, you don't hear Justin either, Rings. Um, it's, yeah, so you guys can hear me. Well, um, we can't hear Justin. So this has never happened before. This is kind of cool or fun or unexpected. Let me get back to a screen that I can see stuff. And what we're going to do is we are going to Audible and maybe do more of like a real painting show since we do not have Justin to bullshit with while we're doing the show. So I wanted to show off a couple of things in the meantime. And let me put my glasses on. What you see on screen right now and what we're going to be working on today is the Reaper Bones Sea Dragon. So that's cool. It is sculpted by Jason Wiebe. During the Bones 5 update last week, when we were doing all, hey, this is what's here and this is what's not, I got all these things in the mail. I got this, I got the Sea Giant, I got the Demonic Lasher, and what else did I get? Oh, and I got the Cerebus as well. But I put this guy together and wanted to start painting him up. He is really cool, and it's kind of like it's a different sculpt than what you would traditionally see for a miniatures company. What I was texting Jason last night, and basically saying, hey dude, what was your inspiration on this? Because what it reminds me of is the hold on, Justin sent me a text. I gotta reset my Discord. Let's see here. All right. We did a reset. Let's see if that seemed to work. Justin, are you there? I can't hear you. All right. So let's do a test with the audience of all 44 people right now. Can we hear me and with a number 4? And if you can hear Justin, I don't know, like a 2 or something like that. I got another text from. Also restart your headset. I already did that. See, everybody could still hear me, including yeah. Everybody can hear me, Justin, for a change, and nobody can hear you, which is crazy. That's never ever happened. So is it my fault? Justin was working ahead of time before we went live. So Justin, I did reset my headset. I can. This could legitimately be a Discord problem. So no dulcet tones of the Justin. That's right, Rhonda. Anyways, let's Justin, what do you think? You can text me if you want to try to patch this up. Do we want to just continue and kind of make this um, uh, a painting show, or what do we want to do? We can go do that. It's always been lots of web and tech issues everywhere today. Yeah, I think so. I was having some streaming issues with my work stuff today. I'm doing a lot of Zoom and video calls and whatever, but it wasn't here. It was supposedly back at the corporate office too. So, anyways, let me, Justin, what do you think? I got continue forward. He'll work on it. All right. So let's do it like a normal kind of streaming show. So what I wanted to was talking about was the Sea Dragon. This is part of, for you guys in the Bones 5 Kickstarter, it's part of the Dark Depths expansion. I think I'm getting the name right. There's some really, really cool stuff in there, including the Sea Giant, which all I have is Prime Black now, but maybe I'll show that off in a little bit. But I wanted to work on him today, and what I've really started working on was, of course, blocking in the colors. Justin?
Can you hear me now?
I can. Hey, how are you doing? This show is all about you, and then we shit the bed.
It's effing Discord. Pardon my language. You know what? Listen, we're going to start the show off with this.
Right.
I genuinely dislike this as a platform. You get what you pay for, and it is free.
Yeah.
So I think Discord has constant problems with voice issues. Everything else is great, though.
What's funny is this is the show about you and you being a producer of streaming. We're going to ask a lot of streaming questions, and the technical difficulties happen not from my side, which is normally where they all have 99% come from in the past. So you're here. How you doing?
I'm doing great, buddy.
Yeah.
I moved us out of that channel and into a different channel, and Discord accepted it. So that's we're not even in the streaming channel anymore.
We're in uncharted territory.
We're actually an employee meeting channel, so this is kind of a super exclusive channel.
Oh, we should all feel honored by that, right? Can anybody tell anything? So
as honored as any one person can be in this channel, yes. So
hey, so I don't know what you caught, but we were talking about the Sea Dragon, and he's part of Bones 5 and all that stuff.
Yeah, I caught all that, and I caught the fantastic intro that you gave me. Thank you very much.
Do you like that?
That was great. I did. I thought it sounded great. I've never been hyped up that well before. That's new.
I had to scrape the bottom of the barrel there, didn't I?
Oh, you did. You had to dump it over too and let it dry. I completely get it. I mean, I understand. You gotta do what you gotta do, you know.
All right. Here's the other thing that I've been kind of working on. Hadn't shown it off on any of the shows. It's been probably a good 2-3 weeks on and off working from camping and whatnot. But this is, I don't even know what it's called. Do you know the name of this? The Eye Tyrant Beast, or it's part of
this Fathom Tyrant, I believe.
Fathom Tyrant. I'm horrible with names on remembering what the name is. This would be Underwater Eye Dude when I take pictures and send them to Ron. So I was kind of struggling with the eye a lot, and I think I like it where it turned out. It's pretty cool. It's a little Eye of Sauron kind of thing going on there. And then all the individual eye stalks all have their own little eyes going on too. But I wanted to make the center eye the most impactful, most brilliant. And then so he started really mostly orange. And I liked it, but he was, I don't know, looking a little too pumpkin-y. And I know that's the season, but so I started with the purples, and I liked where it was going. But then I was like, if he's going to be this crazy underwater thing, I was texting back and forth with Jason last night. Some of my inspirations was octopuses and cuttlefish. When they get all enraged, their colors light up and everything. So that was kind of where I was going with this guy. So he's kind of fun. And there's just all these really cool textures all over the place that Jason had sculpted in. I wanted to try to accentuate those a little bit and then even add some of my own. So some of the blue pattern comes down into the tentacles hanging below. So that was a lot of fun. Thanks for all the people that have given good props on it. So thanks you so much. So that's that. Do we want to? Oh, might as well. So during the Bones 5 update last Friday, I was putting together a bunch of models and showed them off kind of at the end, but I had that crappy ass camera. And here is the sea giant. He's just prime black right now. In his, I have not attached, and I'm gonna wait till he's fully painted. But these are, to the best of my knowledge, if I'm getting it correct, the same molds that the Bones 5 is going to come into. So they fit together perfectly. They're really nice, and they're super sharp and great detail. They're just basically primed black with the airbrush, with the Vex airbrush, and I missed a spot right there. So he's just super cool. And again, for size comparisons, this is a Dark Sword miniature. This is what a normal size miniature would rank up with, if you see. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, the detail on this is super awesome. And the other thing I missed on his arm is his little ship shield, his little boat shield, which is just such a cool addition. I mean, that's all out of the mind of the weebie, right there. That's so neat. I don't know if there was concept art on this or not, but I gotta imagine so much did still come out of his little brain, or his big brain. And then his Genon. I haven't been watching all that diligently, but the Demonic Lasher, he's just prime black also, so you kind of lose some of the detail in the camera. But this guy is freaking huge as well. There's a normal mini compared in size and stuff. So this is not Sir 4 scale, it's Sir Crow scale. Dark Sword miniature based on a character that I asked Izzy to draw, and Jim produced him. And then here's kind of the back. Look at all the scale work and everything, which is really cool. And then there's some great base work with lava, a little lava scene right here, lava back here if you wanted to do that, and then rocks and whatnot. And then the great, your traditional kind of faces that would go along with this character. And then I really like what he did with instead of just having the one tentacle thing on the arms, which is a little more traditional, they were kind of like hands that are morphing into tentacles. And I don't know a ton about the canon on this guy, but I think it's different than what the old art used to be. So he's super cool too. So anyways, that's been showing off, and today I'm going to be going back to the Sea Dragon and working on him. Colors. The prime colors for this guy is bright turquoise. This is Pathfinder Gwendolo blue, or Grindolo blue, whatever. Copper verdigris. I really like this color a lot. And then white. These two colors are really close, but you'll see it's a little bit of a different hue and a little bit a little more intensity because it's a little bit brighter. So I've been throwing those in there as well. And that's your prime blues for the piece. The purples are of course I've got to use a color that's not out. My Procter purple, but it's light clear purple with maybe a little bit of blue liner. When I've needed to make it when I ran out before, I kind of just add a little blue liner, a clear purple, and it comes close, real close. Then the next purple is this. I can't even pronounce it. Siguch. It's 89536. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. And then Tendril pink. But there's lots of pinks and stuff that you could grab for that as well. And then, and one other color within the little purple range is, and this is really cool, I've pumped this color a bunch, is the Succubus Kiss. And this has been a lot of the glazing and whatnot that you see in the armpits and whatever. So yeah, that's super cool. And then for the horns, one of my go-to sets for, I joke that I use blue liner in pretty much everything. I really like the Dusky Skin Triad. I seem to find I use it in just about everything too. From horns, I like the horns aspect. That's what these horns are Dusky Skin Triad. There's hit the light on. And so that's kind of cool. And then so we'll paint as well. And the other colors we have going on the palette is there's that clear phthalo green and the clear phthalo blue are in there for tinting purposes. But enough of that. Let's get to the main point of this show today is Justin. How are you doing today? How's everything going after we got all our technical difficulties wrapped up?
Going great, as long as the technical difficulties are actually behind us at this point. Can everyone hear me? I have to ask. I never know, just because it's activating that that people can hear me. So
I can hear you. That's what's important.
Yeah, it's going great. It's going great. We actually had some technical issues yesterday for Josh's show. He had his internet, because I know some people probably ask, his internet completely just disappeared yesterday. He had some interference in the line, and they were working on it at the pole, and then they ended up just bringing it down because it was destroyed. So
Did he have to drop out of the
yesterday the show didn't go off. Yeah,
Oh.
the show didn't go on. He recorded it and then sent it to me, and I am in the process of uploading it. So yesterday's episode of Miniature Monday should be live on the Twitch VOD as a Twitch VOD here tonight sometime. So if anyone's waiting on that, it'll be up then.
So when you say Twitch VOD, it's like it's a recorded Twitch.
Correct. It'll look as if we broadcast it and then it ended up in the video section.
Oh,
so.
Okay. Well, that kind of leads me to what 2 years ago, or when did you guys start doing Reaper Live?
Oh, jeez.
2 years ago.
I think it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago sounds about right, since we're approaching our 100th episode, but we've missed a handful of weeks because of holidays and such, but not many. And we started off on YouTube, so yeah, but about 2 years sounds about right.
And so, at that point, no one really knew that Reaper was going to start doing social media stuff. Their exposure at that point, social media wise, was their website, their forum that's been around for a long time, and then they had a Facebook page that was kind of monitored every now and then, but there was no kind of this streaming portion. So in large part that was due to your influence in getting this up and rolling. What was that sell process like with the powers that be? It was like, hey guys, we need to catch up into the real world in the modern times, and let's start doing streaming. How'd that first conversation go?
I think that to tell that story, you probably have to go a little further back to, I would say, how the position was created to begin with, which basically for that, the TLDR there more or less is that one day, right, because I worked in internet assisting Cindy with basically all of production. At that point, she was almost over everything in production and everything but name, right, and I was co-running it with her. And basically, Collins approached me one day because he knew that I had some experience, because we had talked about it briefly. He had just come back from moving up from Austin. He had at one point worked in the front store with Gus, right? You remember Gus? And he left to go to Austin, and then he came back up here, and he got a job back at Reaper because they asked him to do some Blue G stuff and some other type, administration work. And so anyway, he approached me one day and said, hey, you used to do video stuff, because I did. As a little bit of a backstory, I co-owned a company called Sly Fidelity that I sold my portion of back to my partner at that time, which was probably circa 2010.
Yeah, for millions and millions of dollars. And that's why
yes,
you do what you do today. Just
millions, more like hundreds. But yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It basically, I had to walk away from it because I didn't feel like the partnership was great. I didn't feel like he and I's chemistry was conducive to a good business relationship. So I kind of walked away from it, and I started a standard 9-to-5 job that I ended up probably disliking way more than I ever disliked that relationship. So it's kind of ironic.
This is a different 9-to-5 job than Reaper.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Okay.
This is actually the job I worked before Reaper, which was to this day still takes the cake as the worst job I've ever had. And I worked at Dairy Queen and Brahms, which those places
Oh.
are difficult for different reasons.
Hmm.
And I worked at Walmart too, which by the way I loved that job.
Yeah, you were a
Um,
greeter, right? You
no,
had the little vest and everything.
no, actually, I had the luck of working in the lawn and garden area where I had to wear shorts every day and run around on a
Ah.
forklift, and it felt like a
Oh.
warehouse job that I also got to connect with people on. And I'll never forget too the most common, because they can't tip you, right? And
Hmm.
they're when you help someone genuinely enough times, which I always enjoyed doing, they want to show that their gratitude by either tipping you or you name it. And more times than not, and they were told not to, they would buy us like candy bars, for instance. I can't tell you how many times either ladies on scooters or whatever, whoever it was, would buy something up at the front counter and then say, hey, this is for this person in the back, when they get off work or whatever.
Hmm.
And I had lots of candy bars purchased for me, which was odd, but I mean, then the assistant managers would tell us, "Hey, you can't do that. Don't tell." I'm telling them not to, but they're doing it anyway, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I can't control it. But anyway, I digress. That's so I liked my time at Walmart, but then I did. I worked at Hoya, which was the place I worked at before Reaper. I
Hmm.
eventually left that place because an opportunity came up where, at the time, yes, thank you, B from the Hole. It was perfect. Yes, they were like, "Hey, you help people. Here's diabetes." Um, so, which at that time I was actually very active, so I probably could have eaten candy bar to candy bar and
Yeah.
been fine.
Yeah.
Um, but basically, I had caught wind from John, because John has been working there for now almost 10 years, and he'd been there a couple of years, and as well as Scotty. Do you remember Scotty?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So between the two of them, they got me a job at Reaper.
Oh.
And now that job was originally it was working as Victor's sidekick.
Oh.
Yes, which was less than desired. It was started off fine, but then it kind of got bad, and then because he was, I don't know, the guy was all over the place. He was. Turns out later too, they didn't even know, but he was. I believe he was an actual felon, and
Oh.
I don't think he disclosed it. Um,
He
but
used to make
that's a
really
funny
good
little.
barbecue.
And he still does. Like he's an okay guy, but
Yeah.
he just, and we're not actually entirely certain that he's a felon. But someone did send us some arrest records that suggested that he might be a felon,
Well, we need to go
and
on record for
but
the show's sake, and we're saying allegedly. That's what they always
allegedly a
do.
felon.
What the
Allegedly a
comedians
felon.
do, they'll say something, they'll
Correct.
say allegedly. So we but make sure that we say allegedly, right?
Allegedly a felon. Yes.
Allegedly, allegedly.
But no, he was a good person, I think, and but that brought its own experience for me at the company, because we built the mezzanine,
Mm-hmm.
we built the car wash that Dave occasionally uses now, although I think he stopped because internet uses it for staging now.
Mm-hmm.
We built the brand new paint department. I mean, we basically it felt to me like I built half a Reaper with Victor, and I did learn a
Because
lot of things from him.
because the
I really
car wash is an integral part to any miniatures company. If you're going to
did.
start
It
a
is.
miniatures company, you got to have a car wash. For I'm not sure why,
Absolutely.
but it's what I've learned, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, you need a
Yeah.
car. I mean, I'm
Okay.
pretty
Okay.
sure. I'm pretty sure. Games Workshop has like 9 car washes. I'm half certain. Don't quote me
Okay.
on that, and don't go look
Okay.
it up. Um,
Okay. All right.
but I learned a lot from Victor in those first years of Reaper, and a lot of manual stuff. It's actually because of that I was able to replace my own hot water heater with
Oh.
basically not a whole lot of effort. And other than I had my fiance's father help me like move some of the stuff, but outside of
Mm-hmm.
that, yeah, I was able to do that myself. I
So
had the
he helped you with a
confidence.
second career of of
Yeah,
heating and yeah,
yeah,
heating
yeah,
and plumbing. Yeah, that's good.
absolutely. And
You diversify. Yeah.
so that leads me to, like I said, the conversation with Collins, where
Uh-huh.
he had already talked to Ed, and Ed was like, "Oh, really? He used to do this stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I think I would be willing to." At first, I didn't really want to do it though, because I kind of
Mm-hmm.
walked away from it all those years ago. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but then, they were like, "Hey, this needs to happen. We really need this. Would you please be willing to do this?" So,
Mm-hmm.
well, that led to eventually us starting up the department upstairs.
Oh,
Where,
cool.
yeah, where we started off with purchasing a set of video equipment where that at the behest of what I said I needed, and then we started making some YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
I then shifted into the photography side of things because they wanted to shoot another Bones catalog. And Ed had talked about how they had issues photographing the whites and how they could never get the detail to pop.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked a little bit of magic on it and showed him some examples, and he loved it. So he was like,
Mm-hmm.
this is what we have to do. So he immediately stopped me on all video work. And I now had this photography project where I had to shoot all the back Bones catalog photos, which
Boy,
I
that's exciting.
believe, yeah, which I believe if that catalog is out, right? I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Most of the photos in that, if there's a little bee in there, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
black and white photo essentially with a lot of contrast,
Mm-hmm.
um, as an essential, there's a likelihood that I took the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but those are the early days, and then so really genuinely, Collins is the one who kind of started everything as far as the department upstairs. He is the one who kind of talked to Ed about it, got me on board, and then we ran with it, right? And
Yeah. Well, let's
so
not
then we
give him too much credit because it's
no, yeah,
Collins.
you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we no, it was Collins. He didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
No. No. Yeah.
Um, Damn it, Collins. But he, I don't even know if he's watching, but
I don't think
um,
he is.
I don't
Uh,
think so either. And so
Nobody.
then we eventually started doing videos, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's when Reaper Live was born. I think I don't remember exactly how the idea came about. I think we talked about the idea of a show where we kind of painted and we BS'd and it would be funny, yada yada yada.
Yeah. What happened to that?
And yeah, no, then we had this meeting in the minds and we said throw all that out the window. We don't want any of those things. We're going to shoot a show on YouTube that is absolutely the closest thing to watching paint dry, ironically, from a miniature company. And
No, it's a good
so
show.
yeah, so basically that's what we ended up doing was I believe the original idea was Ed's though to make Reaper live.
Yeah.
So we produced it on video. Fast forward like 30 episodes, 40 episodes maybe,
Yeah.
something like that. And then I told him, I was like, hey, I think the horizon here, the next thing for us is to make this go live. And that
Mm-hmm.
was a hard sell. I'll tell you right now, Ron and Ed did not really want to go live. Collins helped me convince him,
Mm-hmm.
but I knew at that point it's like we need to do this on Twitch and we need to go live with it.
Mm-hmm.
And well, at that point, once I'd gotten them on board, the rest is history, really.
I liked the original format. I thought it was cool. It was kind of fun that it was kind of pre-recorded because I think in pre-recorded you just mess up so much more. And so now we don't even have outtakes anymore because everything that's an
No.
outtake is in the thing. I always thought I was very proficient at outtakes. I thought I was really good at that. That was my niche, was creating outtakes. Just because
Oh,
it's
some of the best outtakes I was able to edit together from Reaper Live early days
yeah.
were when we had you guys down, and it had we got that clapper board, and Bobby was obsessed with it. In fact, one of the most time, probably the universal time I can think of where I laughed so hard, and I don't know why it wasn't that funny, but
Mm-hmm.
like Bobby had the clapper, and we were shooting something with you guys. I think interview wise, and
Mm-hmm.
he goes. I think he said Bobby Jackson doo doo piece take one, and he claps the board, and then he just throws the board down. And when I was editing that together, I laughed so hard,
Right.
and I don't know why, but it was hilarious.
Right.
And yeah, you guys just the chemistry between the artists it's fantastic. It really is. Editing y'all's stuff together is great. Even Rhonda stuff is a lot more subtle, where
Mm.
she
Mm-hmm.
she for her it's in the looks and in the sometimes the uncertainty of the way she says something, and she has no idea, but she says some hilarious stuff, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
think she's meaning to be funny, and it's great. Her delivery is pretty impeccable too. So
Yeah.
I will
No.
say I enjoyed editing y'all's stuff.
Well, Rhonda's got her show coming up here in the near future. Next month or so, or less than a month. We got the
I'd
Rhonda Bender
I would say
experience.
so. Yeah, within a
Yeah,
month or so.
yeah. The Rhonda Bender experience. That might be. Do we have a name of the show yet? Is
We
it
do
Joe
not,
with the brush?
although I think Joe Rogan wants his name back though, or his name of his show back.
The Joe Rogan experience. Is that
Yeah, I
what it
think
is?
that's I believe that's the name of his show. I
Hey,
don't think it's trademarked though.
no, no. Well, I like Joe Rogan. I like his show a lot. I've watched it just to see if I can pick up anything from what he does because it's really
Oh,
cool.
I agree. I enjoy it a lot too. I
He
think
is a good
he's a
guy.
funny guy.
So, you went to school. Do you have a photography degree or do you
I do
multimedia
not.
degree? Okay, but
No, no.
you have that background though.
I do. I am outside of the essentials that I took at community college, which was
Mm-hmm.
about 10 years worth, and that's no
Mm-hmm.
joke. I have probably at this point enough for two bachelor's degrees worth of just individual associate like
Mm-hmm.
classes that I've taken.
Mm-hmm.
I've damn near taken a lot of upper tier like graduate classes too. So for instance, I took OChem and PChem as well as Chem 1 and 2, and I went really deep into the chemistry field and some of the other science fields, and I went really deep in the math field too. I took I took college algebra. I took Calc 1 and 2, linear equations. I mean,
Wow.
I don't know why I did those things because I'm not using them today.
Yeah.
And but I took, like I said, I took a lot of classes, and at this point, all of my tech knowledge and all of my computer knowledge and all of my
Mm-hmm.
camera knowledge, it's 100% self-taught.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things where school is great, but if you have a passion for something in the moment, you should
Mm-hmm.
jump on it. You should learn everything you can like a sponge, soak it all up.
Yeah. Yeah. Then everything that you do, definitely. It's good advice. It really is. So, so you started doing the Reaper lives, and then occasionally we would do those Reaper toolboxes where Rhonda did one, and I did a couple of bad ones, and I think well Sergio did one, and Derek and whatnot. And then that kind of I remember doing one, and that kind of even morphed into actually doing shows and stuff. Was that more of your idea, or where'd that kind of come from? Let's take Reaper Live. Okay, we've done that, and let's start doing weekly shows. Where Josh Davis is a good example, and started doing her painting big after she was doing well, she does Reaper Toolbox and stuff. Whose idea was
Yeah,
that kind of?
I think the initial idea of doing weekly shows, like the idea of constantly having programming, and I
Mm-hmm.
think I've said this before too on the channel and other shows, that Ed's vision for this channel is to have programming around the clock,
Mm-hmm.
essentially, of all kinds, miniature related, paint related, you name it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even stuff that has nothing to do with miniatures.
Mm.
And um, so that original idea of having a week to week show series was not it was on our clipboard somewhere. We just hadn't quite applied it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And with that design idea in kind of in the backs of our minds, I came up with Reaper Toolbox with Anne because Anne
Mm-hmm.
had talked about making a Patreon. This is before she had made her Patreon.
Right.
And she, she was like, well, I kind of want to stream too. She wanted to stream first, if I'm not mistaken,
Mm-hmm.
before she made her Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she had asked for some help with streaming and but before even all that, I approached her. I was like, hey, so I want to do a painting show that's kind of on a week to week basis, and I was like, I'd like for you to be the person who does the show, right? And
Mm-hmm.
she was like, yeah, no, I think we could probably do that. She was interested, and then we kind of spitballed some names, and I think we decided. I think I came up with, I believe, Reaper Toolbox, and then we branded it. We put a title on it. I made an intro, all that stuff. It's
Mm-hmm.
all made by me actually, except for I think the original Toolbox graphic was made by Ron. But um,
It's funny how
anyway,
this show's never got that kind of attention from you.
it's that's because it's grown so much now. Back then, it was, what do you have
Whatever.
to do this? Well, let's make a video or two, maybe, and then it's figure out what we want to do for the show. And now it's build a studio, keep up with it technologically. Okay, Proctor, I can see that now. That's cute. Um,
Driving the
it
bus.
is perfect. Yeah, sure enough, it's even It's even got a great horn on it that everyone can recognize.
There might even be a mini coming up that we're in the talks with Jason on. He's threatened a miniature. Now, Buglips said he wants to do a sock puppet show. Has he proposed that to you?
No. Trashorama.
Oh,
Trashorama.
Trashorama. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
Bug Lips kept stealing the sock puppets. No,
Oh.
that has not actually been formally proposed to me, but
Oh.
I'm open. I'm always open to it. But adding shows at this point takes a while because I'd like to give them the attention. Like this one deserves an intro. It deserves. I am very thankful that for one you already had your own logo, so that's great.
Yeah.
But like I am thankful that Gene
Mm-hmm.
drew up some stuff for us.
Yep.
And I couldn't do this by myself, and I really do appreciate that Gene helped and that
Yeah.
you help. You do such a great job with the show too. It makes producing it a lot easier. I will say that.
Oh, thanks.
Um,
Thanks. It's fun.
but
I wouldn't do this if it wasn't fun. If it wasn't fun, then screw it. It wouldn't. I wouldn't keep doing it. And it's neat to see everybody watching. I want to shout out to Trash and to Bug Lips. I see Zambies is on too. I know Zambies has got. She does some streaming stuff, which I will tune into every now and then. It's really cool. So yeah, super cool stuff. Oh, and by the way, for those that joined a little late, we are doing the Sea Dragon from Bones 5, sculpted by Jason Wiebe. It is part of the Dark Depths expansion of the Bones thing, and the Kickstarter is still going. It closes down, though they talked about having it wrapped up by December 1st. So the sooner you can close your pledge, the better. But it's open till December 1st at the same time. And go check out that kick-ass toxic ship, the glow-in-the-dark ship. I probably shouldn't call it toxic because I don't know if it is or not. I'm sure it's safe, right?
Official statement: don't eat the ship. Don't put any part of it in your mouth. I'm looking at Trash.
Or Bug Lips.
YouTube Bug Lips.
Trash made a great, if you on the intro, and I don't want to flip over there because we'll lose audio. Made a great logo for me with the TV set that I used for my ReaperCon stuff for my class and then for the panel. I loved it. He took Gene's logo, put it in this TV set, and made it all kind of retro-y, like it was a Saturday morning TV show, which is kind of cool. So I have that on my intro screen, which I just love. So again, big thanks to Trash for doing that as always. But back to you, sir. Why did you know much or were involved in miniatures before John got you on board with Reaper? I mean, did you even care about miniatures or know much about it?
There was a very, very brief, in my brief, I mean like a singular night where I played some Warlord up at Reaper a long time ago, like almost 10 years ago, probably at this point.
Uh-huh.
And I enjoyed that then. That was my introduction to miniatures. Like I had never seen them before. And they seemed cool to me. I liked the application of them. I've always been very much a kind of practical in that sense, where if painting something just to display it, I don't know that I'll ever do that. It's hard for me because it's not quite how my enjoyment and my brain works. It's almost, I almost always have to have an objective in mind, which is probably why video games appeal to me the most. But not open-ended video games.
Oh.
But like basically in this case, any sort of wargaming appealed to me, but I will say I did not pick up a mini after that. I had never purchased one. The first minis I ever purchased, actually, and this is going to sound kind of blasphemous, of course, were GW models, and that was actually like a year and a half ago.
Oh.
And that was when Collins got me into Kill Team for GW, and I bought some of those. And that was actually the first time I ever painted a mini, too, was also a GW model. Which, I mean, I enjoyed it well enough. It is definitely relaxing. I will say my pieces, the stuff that I painted for GW were not good. I will say that I'm kind of working up the nerve to pick up one of the airbrushes
Mm-hmm.
and and pick up an airbrush and then use it to paint almost entirely a Gorma.
Mm.
I wanna paint a Gorma with the airbrush. I just don't know how it's gonna end up looking, to be honest.
Yeah, who cares? Just paint the shit out of it. Go crazy with the Vex. The Vex is magical, by the way. For those that don't know, I mean, it kind of operates itself. You just kind of tell it what color you're putting in it and where you want it to go, and it kind of takes care of it for you. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was in my video. I don't know if you were paying attention when I was doing it, but it's kind of
Oh,
what the Vex is.
I try not to.
It's the Reaper Vex. It's that airbrush. But yeah, yeah. You should just say I want my Gorman to look like this. You tell the airbrush what to do, and you have to hold it, but then it should come out pretty well. That's what it did for me, at least. I don't know. It should work for you.
How's the
Try it.
cleaning process on it? I've heard it's good, but
It's great. It's great. And so right here, uh, I have my own little case that I made for it, and this is it. Everybody's seen it a million times, but it's super easy and super easy to clean. The one thing is, and I said this in my video, the one thing about cleaning it is after you use it, I really do recommend doing a good cleaning. Not taking it all apart. I would save that on a monthly or even maybe a little bit longer, but cleaning the outside, getting in the cup and stuff. The paint finish tends to hold the paint a little bit more. It takes a little bit more scrubbing. But with that being said, and I'm comparing it to like your typical stainless steel looking, silver looking airbrush. The Black Reaper is just cool looking. It's just really cool. So it's awesome, but not enough about. There's so many videos. Every time I go onto YouTube and there's a new how-to video on utilizing the Reaper airbrush. So there's tons of stuff out there. And if you want a better tutorial on the airbrush, Aaron Lovejoy, who was on last week, did a video during ReaperCon, and he's going to be doing. So that's out on YouTube now, I guess. And he's going to be doing some classes. Four classes? It's over a month, once a week. You can sign up for and paint along with him with your airbrush. Super cool. My first airbrush I got from Gene Van Horn. He showed me the ropes on it. I played around with it a little while, and then when I felt comfortable, Aaron Lovejoy came out to Colorado and did a weekend workshop with a few of us, and he really helped me feel even more comfortable and get loose with it and feel like, all right, I'm not going to break it, and let's just go to town with it. The Reaper Vex is good. Now, if you use it and you're new to airbrushing, put in the bigger needle, the silver tip needle, the one with the silver ball in the end instead of the black one. You use that one because it's just bigger and it'll give you more spray and it'll clog less. Is my opinion. And then turn up your pressure. I think I said on my video that I run like a 4 or a 5. Well, that makes absolutely no sense. I run between 40 and 50 psi, but I always say 4 or 5 because that's the little on my compressor underneath, and I can't read it. There's a 4 and a 5, and I try to just set it there. It's easier for me because the 50 doesn't show up, so I try to put it right in there. It's a little bit narrower window to capture that on. So yeah, you should try it. But now you're into playing D&D and Pathfinder and all that as well, right?
yes, actually, I was going to say at this point, most of my experience with miniatures, actually, because I stopped playing Kill Team, is with D&D, and I love Pathfinder Second Edition. I love it.
Yeah.
Although I will say that Frank kind of turned me around a little bit on Fifth Edition. It's fun and it's got potential, right? I really like the min-maxing blob of numbers that comes with Pathfinder. I love it
Do you
so
get
much.
all I gotta know is do you get to kill stuff or not? Because otherwise, I think whether it's Pathfinder, whether it's D&D, whatever, it's all about the DM for me, or the GM, or whatever the game calls the dungeon master person. I think that's why I really like playing with Frank. And Frank at Nightheart Gaming, I don't know if he's on or not. He is so much fun to play with. He's just a good DM. And I think that's the thing, is telling the story is the good DM. Joseph Wolf is another person who's a good DM. At Reaper, when we have our little artist gatherings, Kevin Williams, who's Reaper's staff sculptor, runs a party for us, and that's where Abran was first created, was for that game, and he's continued on through this game. He started over in leveling, but yeah, it's the story is fun for me, and that's where I get a kick. Playing what I like with Frank is playing with actual miniatures, and he makes all the sets and everything, which is fun to follow. You know what I mean? But you had a brief stint on our Nightheart Gaming show as a wizard who hated doors. Are you there, Justin? All right. I think we lost Justin again. I will look for his text. I don't see that he's there.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's going
Yeah,
on?
that's Discord. Discord is literally doing that.
I think you're messing with me, is what you're doing.
I switched this back into the remote streaming channel.
Uh
Um, I was laughing at you because no, my wizard does not have a penchant for killing doors. It just
huh.
so happens that I roll kind of like Rhonda does, and then when
Yeah.
there's a door nearby, I will shoot the door with a fireball.
Oh. Well, did you? And I was gone a week ago Friday when we were the last D&D session. And by the way, we're playing D&D this Friday, right?
Correct.
Friday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Is that right?
Yeah, yes. Six
Yeah.
is when it's supposed to start. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's when we start and we play for a couple 3 hours or so. But um, yeah, it's a lot of fun. And so I didn't get to play that last time because I was camping. But I did. You didn't step in. Your wizard didn't
I
make a
did not.
reappearance. Oh.
I did not because I was still helping produce the show because I know that Anne or Frank would not have minded if I had, but
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, I'd like to help them as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also typically using a part of that time to get other work done too for Reaper since if I'm in it kind of puts me in work mode. When I'm in work mode, it's hard for me not to work on stuff, stuff that
Well,
I when I have so many things.
yeah, and you do that with here. It's a lot of time when we have other guests on, you kind of mail it in and start typing and doing
Mail it
other
in,
things.
mail it in. Oh, this guy.
I can get you to barely pay attention to what's going on. But, today when it's all about you, you're a lot more engaged, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think I have to be. Unfortunately, I don't think there's no one else here to actually answer those questions for me. Unfortunately.
No, I was a little
Um,
lost. And I think, full disclosure here is I've become very used to people being on the air with me while I'm doing this and having a conversation back and forth. Do you know? Today, when you weren't there, it kind of reminded me of, oh, crap, it's just me. Um, and to me, my brain automatically goes, that's freaking boring. Because like when I did the one class at ReaperCon, when we did the Shade of Metallics one, I just kept feeling like it wasn't natural for me not to be talking to somebody, and I see all these folks like I mentioned Zambies is on, she does streaming, and Mocha does streaming, and all these other folks just do streaming, and Ann does stuff, and all these other folks. I could keep going on and on, but they're just there and they're just talking and stuff. And I find myself to be, I like to have other folks to bounce ideas off and bounce jokes off and stuff because I think I might just find myself boring if it was just me. That's what I'm always afraid of, at least. So it's kind of where this show ended up, where it ended up. Because initially we weren't sure what this show was going to be, right?
you're
Um,
right. We did not have an identity. We said we were going to go into it with open minds and kind of
mhm.
figure out where it went, and that's how a lot of the shows go too. That's not just this one where with the exception of Josh's, actually, where we had kind of super planned his out because it was a niche we wanted to fill.
Mhm.
But for the most part, you're right. Yeah, we went into it and it was like, well, what do we want this to be? And here it is. I think it's been kind of perfect because I feel like it's revealed your ability to be kind of a journalist. I think that
Mm.
you actually have a kind of a knack for it. So
Yeah, air
I
quotes
think I
on
say
that
this most.
journalist
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
absolutely, yes, in air quotations. Um, I say that most weeks, but really, I think that that's what brings the guests to life. As interesting as those people are, especially when we had that Weeby guy on, um, it's great. But I think that they are made a lot more interesting for sure because
Hmm.
of the questions they're getting, and you come up with those questions. That's not me. You do a great job with that. So
Well, some credit goes to Rhonda and Jen Greenwald as well. I will text them or message them sometimes and say, "Hey, this is going to be on. This is who's going to be on next. Any good questions?" And they've come up with some great ones as well. But and then also to um, the people watching the stream and stuff. There's a lot of times when we have guests on that we're going through questions and somebody will pop one on, and if I can pay attention, it's the whole walking and chewing gum things at times for me. To paint, to talk, to listen, and to be ready for the next question, and try not to ask another question while they're still talking. If that makes sense. But and then trying to pay attention. You and I have gone and after the show, remember the first few shows in particular, we would get off and I was like, oh my God, that freaking sucked. I hated that. I suck so bad at that. And you were like, no, no, no. You were like my grief counselor or something.
yeah, no, it was. I had to talk you down every episode because you were. I think it was a mix of nerves for you
Yeah,
and some other
yeah.
stuff, but
No, it was just like, and it was weird. And maybe for some of the folks that stream and they can do this as well, is the downtime. I was always afraid of having too much dead air. And you were really good. And this is why I'm bringing this back to you. Is you were really good at like saying, "Oh no, this is what you need to do." And by the way, we every show, and I'm kind of bouncing around here. Um, every first, especially in the beginning ones, we would do a recap afterwards, and I'd be like, "Okay, what was right, what was wrong." Um, so I appreciate that because you kind of talked me off a ledge a few times, and you said, "No, no, no, you need," but maybe you need to think about doing this a little bit more. And because I'd be like, "Oh, there's a lot of dead air," and you were like, "No, there really wasn't. You need to go back and listen to it." So I will try to within a few days go back and listen to that previous show just to see what I did, and actually go back and look at comments and stuff too to see what people are saying. What did I miss? And if you put some question out there and I miss it, um, sorry, I don't mean to, and I'm not ignoring anything. And Jason, no, Proctology 101. That's not what course we're teaching here in not even a tiny bit. Yeah, that's been one of the things about my last name that I haven't appreciated over the years is the tie from proctor to proctology. That was a lot of traumatic youth experiences, if that makes
I
sense.
can imagine. It sounds to
Yeah.
me like it would be very similar to maybe going bald when you're in fifth grade. Um, I imagine that it's probably close.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So no, but so what do you you do your own streaming as well sometimes, right? Just from home? Like you
I
have
I
your own
do.
deal? We always do
I
such a great
do.
job pubbing other people. I mean, tell us more what your other streaming activities are, non-Reaper streaming activities.
The last couple of times that I streamed, it was predominantly Escape from Tarkov, and it was what else did I play? I think I played some PoE. I don't remember if I did or not. Um, but it was kind of to test some stuff for the Reaper
Mm-hmm.
stream. But
Yeah.
I realized that I wanted to do more streaming myself to kind of do my own thing. Because it kind of gives me an outlet to also work around the stuff that I've learned.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I did. That's true. I did play. I did play WoW. That's what it was. I played WoW, and I did
Mm.
do it badly. You're correct, Trash. I played the vanilla servers, and it was pretty rough. I think I died and had to run back to. In fact, I think of that 2 hour stream I did, an hour and 45 minutes of it was me running back to my body, which is
Oh.
not too inaccurate. I think. Um, but yeah, it was. I do it. It hasn't. It's been a long time since I streamed, but
Mm-hmm.
I wanna get back into it again. In fact, I might stream some stuff tonight and start coming up with a schedule. But
All right. What's your
yeah,
what's the name of your stream or whatever? What they look for? Super Justin. Justin's a stud.
Uh,
Justin's a
it's
star. What
actually
is it?
no, it's actually
Uh,
nothing to do with my name, but it's
oh.
I have a command because from a long time ago when John and I had our channels,
Mm-hmm.
I made a command. So here, let me type it in chat.
Um.
So there it is. My stream is twitch.tv/Jaroid. It's phonetic spelling of droid, basically.
Oh, not hemorrhoid.
That harkens, no, not hemorrhoid. It harkens
Oh,
back to my interest in
yeah.
Star Wars. So,
Oh, okay. Okay.
which
So
by the way,
Max Style says some people are just entertaining even when they're failing. Not that you're failing, but it's really entertaining just to listen to you. I don't know who is he talking to, you or me?
I think that's the beauty of the statement. I think it's better to not know. I like
uh,
this.
yeah, I like it better not to know too, because I always suspect that it's me that's failing. It's that whole I don't know if it's imposter syndrome is the right term for this example, but it's always like I always want to make sure that I'm doing good and doing it right, and not sounding too stupid. It's always going to come across somewhat stupid, but not too stupid, I guess, is what I'm looking for.
No, I
Um,
mean it's I one thing I can really empathize with, really, in this case, is imposter syndrome. Not that,
mm-hmm,
like you said, not that it is, but really doing all this stuff for Reaper, I had to learn. There's a lot of it I already knew from a technical standpoint, but the actual
mm-hmm,
application I had never done,
mm-hmm,
and not done to this degree at least. And so I had to learn a lot of stuff kind of on the fly too. And Reaper is the I will say that they will throw enough curveballs at you that you will learn so much.
mm-hmm,
It's such a great level just because you have to be able to do stuff on your toes. That if you ever do decide to move on to another company at some point,
mm-hmm.
speaking of anyone, right?
Yeah,
That if you do that, then Reaper will have made you stronger for that company.
yeah.
So that
No, and
is absolutely
yeah,
true.
I mean, Reaper was the first company that said, "Hey, we want you to paint something for us." And I started doing stuff from Reaper at a much lower talent level than the limited talent level I've reached so far. So yeah, I just keep getting new projects and new things, and it's always kind of pushes you. So yeah, I totally agree with that. And if they like you, they believe in you, and they'll give you the opportunities to succeed and or fail. And if you fail, if you're trying,
Yes.
they won't necessarily say screw you. You'll keep getting the opportunities to fail again.
Yeah. Oh, yes, yes. In my circumstance, yes, you can fail as many times as you need to, and it's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, exactly,
No,
exactly.
that's
That's every week. Every week on Tuesday is we demonstrate that for both of us.
right around 4 p.m. Central.
All right. Well, we could keep going on and on about your backgrounds and your origin story and all that stuff as well. But one of the things that Reaper Live started, and one of their initial taglines was gaming and geek culture. And I've always kind of given you shit and Ron shit about that's been kind of abandoned, and Ron jokes about it on time to time on the show. But you and I will spend a lot of time our pre-show conversations, because we'll get on like a half hour early and just kind of bullshit, and then we'll still be late in starting the show, and even after the show and our wrap up and stuff, talk about stuff. But TV shows, what are you watching right now? What's some recommendations you can give to the folks that maybe they don't know about?
Recently, I've been watching a show on Netflix. Actually, there's two shows. One of them I
Okay.
finished, which is Away, which is
Mm-hmm.
about the first. It's a fictional show about. It's got Hilary Swank in it as I think the lead character,
Mm-hmm.
and she pilots or commands the first group of people to go and land on Mars, basically.
Mm.
But that is a blast. I love sci-fi. I love space, and it is right up my alley.
Was that a
It was a lot of
series?
fun. Yeah, it is a series. Yeah, it's like
Oh.
8 or 9 or 10 episodes, something like that.
Oh, cool.
I am still watching The Boys,
Okay.
right? That's every Friday that it's releasing. There's only like 2 or 3 more episodes left of
This
season
is
two.
season 2. I haven't started season 2
Correct.
yet. I wanted to wait till it all came out, and then I was going to start season 2 because that was one of my favorite streaming show. I mean, that's like almost the best thing that Prime's to come out with, in my opinion. That and then
Oh yeah, it's
continuation.
great.
Yeah, yeah. And then,
And then I think as we were talking about before the show started,
mm-hmm.
I started watching something called Ripper Street on Netflix as well,
Yeah.
which feels like Sherlock Holmes meets like CSI almost, or Criminal Minds. It's
Mm-hmm.
great.
Oh, hey, Bones 5 Sea Dragon. I saw some questions out there. It's part of the Dark Depths expansion, sculpted by Jason Weeby. Super cool. This will be clear in the models that you get. It's hard plastic right now. But yeah, I saw some questions on that. Max beat me to my idea because I know you have some more, but I want to say something. Have you been watching Lovecraft Country?
I have not. I Josh referred it to me, and I think I tried to watch the first episode, and it's no reflection on the show, but I did fall asleep, I think.
Oh,
Um, but it seems like it's gonna start really slow. I don't genuinely don't even know what the premise of the show is yet. Because that's how little, like, I didn't get very far. I can guess at this point.
mm.
Um, but I haven't gotten that far into it. But I've heard it's great. I've heard it's
it's
good.
it's great, and it was done prior to this summer and all everything that has happened this summer, um, and it's very timely in that without doing it after the fact and being intentional and timely. Jordan Peele is the creator, and how he's not the director for all of them. I think they have different directors for everyone. It is Lovecraft Country, so it's not Lovecraft books exist in this world, yet all this other Lovecraft stuff actually happens in this world. It's kind of crazy, and it's a HBO kind of series where it's an overarching story that just continues on and on. It can be a little confusing at times. It's shot really well, and it's a 50s, 60s kind of vibe. Love it. It's done really well. The writing's really good. The special effects when they have them are just phenomenal, and which is good. They're not killing you with stuff. It's kind of suspenseful in that way. Yeah, it is it's a really intense kind of show to watch. We will. Michelle and I will sit down and watch it, but we'll only watch one at a time because it's really one of those shows that is just so intense that you need to take a break after you watch one. So yeah, that's.
Okay.
But one other show that you and I were talking about before we jumped on was Ripper Street. You've been watching that?
Yeah, I have been. It's very. It does. It strikes me as like it's very who done it, I guess, like
Mm-hmm.
Sherlock Holmes. It reminds me a lot of the Robert Downey Jr. films, but like it's also very much almost like the series with Benedict Cumberbatch, Batch,
Mm-hmm.
whatever his name is.
I
I like
think
to
it's
call him Bunch,
Batch.
but it's Batch.
Yeah,
It is, but
yeah.
anyway, it's very much like it's like a mix of those two, but it's also kind of Criminal Mindsy or CSI because there's these individual stories each episode, right?
Yeah.
And it to me it's very fascinating because I also love history. So
Mm-hmm.
when they tie things in, like Edmund Reed, which is my primary detective, which is one of the detectives that was that investigated that were on scene of some of the Ripper killings,
Mm-hmm.
particularly the most infamous, which is Mary Jane Kelly, right, which is supposed to be accepted as the last one
Mm-hmm.
in theory, and that was obviously the most egregious killing from the Ripper killings too. It was particularly obscene,
Mm-hmm.
with just viscera everywhere, and it was rough. And but I think it's crazy because they use the same names. They use Edmund Reed. They use Thomas Gower. They use that because I'm also low key or was at one point really into true crime and serial killers and things like that. They fascinate me in a sort of morbid way.
Oh,
So
in a training for future.
yes,
Okay.
yeah. And I'm going to. You'll know it's me because I'll leave a clever crow stamp on each victim somewhere.
That'd be funny. That wouldn't be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michelle started watching that first, and I have not seen all of them because there's like 5 seasons of them. Um, it's good. It's a good show. I guess it was really popular over in England when it was on before it came. The Netflix bought it. It is. It's very episodic, and I think although you mentioned the lead character his character's name is Reed, he's got a little bit of that William Shatner itis. Um, the He's a little bit of an overactor. I'm just gonna
I
say it.
completely agree. No, I agree. He's got that 10-mile stare.
Yeah, he hasn't met a line that he doesn't want to deliver it to 110%. There's not a lot of subtlety right there, but it's fun. It's really good. Umbrella Academy, Max just threw out again. He must watch a lot of Netflix. That's really good too. Season 1 was awesome. Talk about a slow starting show. I thought Umbrella Academy first season just was like, oh my god,
Oh man,
I can't get
I
through this.
have
Yeah.
tried to watch it and quit it now about
Uh,
half a dozen times. I'm like, I think 6 episodes in, and I can't keep going with it. I'm so bored out of my mind.
yeah.
Even though it's got everything in the show that should make me like it. But I think it's legitimate, at least in the first season. It feels like it's missing its soul. It feels
Mm,
like it's missing the spirit. It doesn't have that real zing, that flavor that keeps me like. Everything on paper seems great about it, but I'm
hmm
just bored by it. I'm so
How
bored by it.
how far did you get into it? How many episodes?
It was about 6 episodes. Yeah,
Wow,
it
that's
was
that's
it
when it
was
started
six
picking up for
episodes.
me. Yeah, it was about 4 or 5 that it started picking up, and season 2 is pretty good too. We just finished that not too long ago. We'll have a sit down TV movie night on the weekends, generally like Saturday night or Friday night if we're not playing D&D that night. But so yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. Um, it's not The Boys. The Boys is the best superhero thing out there series.
Oh
It's
yeah, I agree.
crazy funny. It's crazy funny, super brutal. But The Boys is the best. But yeah, it's just really good. All right, so we got the TV stuff. So, any games you're playing right now? Anything new? Any new
Nothing new at this
besides
point.
sucking at WoW and getting wasting time on WoW?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really looking forward to it, but I will likely play it. But there's a new WoW expansion coming out here in like a month or two or something. I think it's about a month. But
Mm-hmm.
they all but completely confirmed that they're going to do vanilla, not vanilla. Well, they are, but like the vanilla Burning Crusade, which is the first expansion to WoW servers, kind
Mm-hmm.
of like they did with vanilla in sometime, hopefully the beginning of next year. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of those things, I mean, I pretty much just play Tarkov or Path of Exile at this point.
Path of Exile. I don't know what that is.
Path of Exile is like a Diablo type game. It's an action RPG where
Oh,
you
cool.
loot explosions and crafting, and
Yeah.
it's an RPG. It's very much like I said. It's very much like Diablo. It's widely accepted as the spiritual successor to Diablo 2, not
And you,
Diablo 3. Diablo 3 is very different, right? So
yeah, yeah. You only play on on PC. On
correct. I do not play. I don't even own a console at this point, except for my
oh,
Switch, which
okay.
my fiance plays
Oh.
99% of the time. So yeah, I don't touch it for the most part.
See, I'm the opposite. I do only stuff on console. I have my console hooked up to my TV downstairs, and that's what when I play stuff, I just play off of it, whatever's on the PS4 right now. But I'm excited for the PS5's coming out this fall, and they are recreating Demon Souls, and they're taking Demon Souls, which was only on the PS3, which was the whole Dark Souls, Bloodborne.
Oh yes, that's the
D-
first one I played. The
Demon
reboot.
Souls
Yeah,
is the
you.
first one. Yeah, it was the very very first one. It got all this acclaim, but not a ton of people played it. It was like super freaking hard. I just played it again
It
recently on
was.
the PS3, and they are recreating it with all new graphics, and
It looks beautiful, doesn't it? It's
it
gorgeous.
looks.
It is gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
I'll buy.
it's pretty enough that I'm considering buying a PS5 for it.
Oh, it's so good. It just looks so nice, and the gameplay looks cool. I don't know if they're gonna, if it's just a straight port from the level. I mean, the level, the just the levels, or are they going to be creating any additional levels or content? I don't know what they're doing, but um, I watched a couple. There's a YouTube streamer called Fighting Cowboy that he does a lot of the walkthroughs and whatnot for various games, and with the Soul series, I always will try to play through the first time without watching anything, and then the second playthrough I'll watch all the various streamers, and he's one of the streamers I like to watch and see. He'll do find all the loot, or all the tricks and everything, because you'll inevitably miss maybe a quarter of the game because you didn't know, like, oh, if I would have gone down this way I would have found a whole nother level, or if I would have gotten this piece of treasure or whatever, then I could have accessed this other area. But without finding that, I never would have been able to go in this other area, which is, I don't know, it's really cool. So I'm super excited.
No,
about that.
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
That was the first. I think it was 2009 when that came out.
Mm-hmm.
2008, 2009 when it came out, and it would basically create a genre of now you hear people go, oh, that game is Souls-like, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that would not exist without Demon Souls, right? That
Yeah.
game was mold breaking. It was insane. And would you ever consider maybe streaming your first playthrough of Demon Souls? I would love to watch that, and I think I speak for everyone else in this channel. We will all watch you play through Demon Souls the first time. I'm
Oh my
not
god.
joking.
I
We will watch that.
All right, I'll do it. But I just want everyone to know, like, usually when you see these folks play and stream on screen, they're really really good. I mean, you could tell they're whatever, their fast twitch controller hands, whatever, can. I watch these guys go through a Dark Souls 3 level or whatever. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to fight the boss that way, and the boss just stomps me, and they're just beating it by themselves. Where I may have to summon somebody in to help me beat this guy, right? So I don't know, but yeah, I'll do that. I'll do it. I'll just have to get the
Awesome.
PS4 and open, but that's not going to be hell till after Christmas or something, right?
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
whenever you want to. You know what? Yeah, and we'll showcase it. You'll play
Yeah.
some Demon Souls, and maybe we'll host it on this channel.
That'll be. I don't know. I don't know if this audience will be interested in that. If people are interested, I'll do it. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be good. So, but yeah, other than that, I started playing Fallout 4 again. It was for my 800th time. I just popped it in, loaded up a bunch of mods, and started playing Fallout 4 again. And like, oh, this is really cool. And so late last night, I was like, I'm gonna throw some more mods on, and then I put one too many mods on, and now everything is crashing, and I can't get it to restart again the game. So I gotta strip all the mods off and start again. But it makes the game almost like completely different. What's up?
No, I'm saying like you
Okay.
crashed your
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know. Trying to figure that out as well, and what we can do there. But oh shit, it's like almost 4:30. So
I see that. Okay.
did you know what time it was? Were you just letting us go along and talk about stuff?
No, I was thought
Hmm.
we were talking about Demon Souls, and actually, real quick, let me answer Zambi's question.
Okay.
I assume what you're talking about, Zambi's, is the leagues that they do every 3 or 4 months or whatever it
Mhm.
is. And in that case, Heist is pretty good. That's the most recent one they launched like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whenever it was. It's been pretty good so far. It's fun. They wipe like characters, or they start a new league where you start over fresh every 4 months, Proctor, and
Mhm.
they introduce some basically like I'm an expansion essentially every 4 months, and they
Oh,
introduce something new, and it's a great formula. It keeps the game so fresh.
and what game is this?
Path of Exile.
Oh, Path of Exile. Okay.
Yeah, it's actually on. It's actually on the PlayStation too for free to. It's a free to play. It doesn't
Is
cost
it?
any money.
Okay.
Yeah, it's free to play. So you might be able to download it for free on the PlayStation 4 and try it if you want.
Yeah, I'll try it out. I'll try it out tonight. Because I like the whole shit. It's escaping me right now. The other game you were comparing it to? Um,
Oh, Escape from Tarkov?
yeah. No. What's Path of Exiles like? I mean, what's a comparable?
Oh, it's like Diablo.
Yeah, that's what
Or
that's what I was trying. Yeah, I like that whole kind of, dungeon
or like the
crawling
old
kind of.
Baldur's Gate games too.
Yeah. I'd like to see those remade too. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I like those. What they were back on the PS2 or something. But yeah,
Oh,
that'd be cool.
you want to see a remake? You know they're releasing a new one right here in the next couple of months.
Is it a all new like graphics and everything updated to the whole new system? That might be kind of cool.
It it's a brand new Baldur's Gate. It's Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh,
I actually don't.
cool.
I didn't follow the series very much. It's a brand new one, but it's made by Larian Studios,
All
which are
right.
the people who made the Divinity Original Sin series games. If you ever
Cool.
played those,
Cool.
so
Cool. So the game I'm looking for is what? PoE? Path
yeah,
of.
Path of Exile.
Okay, Path of Exile. Okay. And we'll talk about it next time and see if I
All
played
right.
it and how bad I sucked at it. Um, so yeah, we're about 4:30. I got a little work to catch up on, real work stuff. But dude, I've been wanting to get you on because pretty much what we did today, outside of the technical difficulties, is what Justin and I talk about for the most part before and after the shows. So it's just hanging out, and this was we get a lot of folks on and we're like with Aaron last week. Aaron just couldn't stop talking about Aaron, right? uh, but it was a lot of fun, but it was, it's fun. This was kind of like the intent of the show, and what Justin and I kind of designed things for was like kind of like be paint club, and we're just hanging out and painting and doing stuff. So thanks everybody for watching again. um, Shout outs to, I want to throw a shout out, and this person doesn't know me from the show or whatever, but if you're ever just cruising around Twitch and you're like, I'm painting, I don't got anything to watch, and you see her on, throw Zambi's on. She's fun to watch. It's entertaining. She's good. Reminds me of a lot of Mocha, and the way Mocha does her streaming too. So FYI, try that out. Um, uh, I love to talk about myself. Oh, see, Rings wants to be on the show because he loves to talk about himself for hours. That might be an option. Anyways, um, let's talk about other shows. I'm really going to make an effort, whether it's a quality effort or not, to get these shows right. So on the Reaper Twitch channel, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central Time is
11:30.
11:30 Central Time is a Reaper Toolbox with Anne, right? Is it still called Reaper Toolbox, right?
It's called Reaper Toolbox Pro Tips, but yeah.
Okay, Reaper Toolbox Pro Tips with Anne. And then with Anne at the same time, check out her streaming on Painting Big, and she's got a Patreon as well. And then on Mondays after that, 2:30 Central Time, right? No, it's 3:30 Central Time. Is Josh
3 p.m. Central Time.
3? I'm 0 for 2. So 3 p.m. Central Time is Josh with Miniature Monthly. He's got a new Miniature Mondays, not to be confused with Miniature Monthly. He's got his own little paint kits that he does every month, pre-paints them, and then shows you to it on the show. He was streaming earlier today, and he was using the VEX airbrush painting a bust, this young miniatures bust that I painted up a long time ago. But he was doing NMM on it with the airbrush. It was pretty cool, and he was doing a great job. Then Tuesday is Ann again, and then me. And then the show, so you don't need any info on that. I can't screw that up. Wednesday is just Ann, right? Until you can get your shit together and get the other shows on. The most important show is Bird with the Brush, right? That's probably going to be the name of the show, right? Bird with the Brush with Rhonda Bender.
I assume so. It's kind of up to her.
Yeah. What's your let's see, win an interview by Proctor, new prize idea. That I think that would be like the last place finisher would win the prize of being interviewed by me, because Jason says win in air quotes. And then so Thursday is Ann again. We got Sadie, right? Sadie is at 2:30 Central Time.
Nope, 3 p.m.
I'm getting closer. And then
You
after
are
that,
moving forward 30 minutes. Perfect.
so anything I'm going to guess, I'm just going to push it forward 30 minutes. And uh, oh, Derek's on. Hey, dude, how are you doing? And then Thursday afternoons or whenever Reaper time is. I'm not even going to try a time here because it should be about 6 p.m. Central Time ish, but that's that Reaper live show. That's how do you think that show's doing? Is it kind of lost
That's
its steam?
yeah, no, it's definitely its ratings are in the dump.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do love that of all the shows you could guess and say like 5:30 or 6:30, those
yeah.
are still just as close. It's such an ish with that show.
It is. I mean, we typically will start this, 5-10 minutes late ish, sort of. But you could be right on time with Reaper Live, or you could be 30 minutes before it starts. So you don't really know. And then you get to watch the campfire go in the meantime. So, but that's fun. That's a good show. Friday, and again, we have John and Dave do Reaperland, and that show's doing good, right?
It's doing well.
No,
Yeah,
it's a fun show. It's a good show. They're great. They're a lot of fun. But that is at, I'm gonna say 2 p.m. Central Time, so it should be 2:30 p.m. Central Time, right?
uh, 3 p.m.
3 p.m. Then, not this week. There's no Bones 5 update this week. There is a Reaper Errant this week at 6 p.m. Central Time. And that's where we all get to play. Myself, Rhonda Bender, Jen Greenwald, Gene Van Horn, Jason Wiebe, and Bobby Jackson. We all get to play D&D with Nightheart Gaming and with Frank. Hey, give Bird with the Brush a little subscription or whatever, Justin. So she doesn't have to watch the commercials anymore. You can see what I mean? She's right down there next to Derek. Derek has one, and then Greg doesn't have one either. We give out subscriptions here instead of asking for them. Anyways, but that's it. Who do we want to stream?
I figured we would raid Anne. Anne is streaming currently.
Anne or CNOT. Let's do votes.
Oh, that's fair.
Let's do votes. Anne or CNOT. We've done, and full disclosure, I will probably vote for Anne, but we've done CNOT a lot lately. So you guys, you tell me who you want. Who you guys tell us who you want, please. Do you want Anne or do you want CNOT? Who do you want to raid? Anne. Let's do Anne. She deserves it. So again, thanks a lot. We'll be back next Tuesday. I have no idea who we're going to have on again. Hopefully it'll be somebody good. Not that this week wasn't. And hopefully the technical difficulties. One last bus drive at the end before we go off the cliff. But yeah, thanks again, buddy. You're the reason I do this show. You're the reasons I continue to do this show. You've made it fun. You've made it enjoyable. And I want to make sure that you get all the credit. You're the reason why a lot of these shows are on and working and continuing on. I know other folks have made the financial decisions to start this stuff, but I know from my standpoint and even talking to the other artists when we do these things that I know you get a lot of credit, but I always think you don't get enough. So I wanted to make sure that this show is dedicated to you and that you get the credit that you deserve for all this stuff, and that everybody loves you. Everybody thinks you're great, but I don't even think they know that, how awesome you are and how much good you do for all this stuff. So again, love you, dude, and appreciate all your help.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Proctor. Those are kind words.
I'm gonna wipe away my fake tear.
Yeah. But thanks, guys, again for coming out. Claude Proctor again for his fantastic journalistic work.
Yeah.
And we'll be signing off here in a few seconds. Don't forget, I do stream occasionally. That is twitch.tv/Geroid. If you guys want to hit it up, hit me with a follow. That's cool too.
Not him.
Thank you guys very much.
All right, we're going stream ending. Oh, have we started? There we go.
Yeah,